Update 2. Yesterday was a long day at my in-laws. My in-laws started with a guilt trip first. They mentioned that they would take them in until they found a place, but due to my father-in-law's diabetes it wouldn't be good for his health. I told them to tell their daughter to parent her children so they wouldn't run around like monkeys. That way they could stay with them as they have spare bedrooms. That didn't land well with my sister-in-law. She went on a tirade of how I have always been jealous of her and that I was trying to drive a wedge between her and her brother. I told her she didn't like her own life, so me being jealous of her and her life was a stretch that required suspension of reality. Boom, roasted. She asked my husband if he was okay with me telling him what to do with his family as he always stays out of my family's business. She told him to lay down the law and tell me that his sister and her family would stay as long as it took them to find a new place to stay. My husband was having none of that. He told her that the house was mine just as much his, and it was a 2 yes and 1 no deal. Just because I was stay at home now didn't mean that I didn't contribute to buying the house when I was working. The younger brother and his wife said they wouldn't be able to host them as they had his mother-in-law staying due to the baby. The older ones mentioned the refurbishments. Both the younger and the older ones' wives said that I was making it up about the cleanliness, as she always kept her own house clean and kept their places clean. They told me to suck it up and act like family. I told them I wasn't there to argue about her cleanliness, as I saw what I saw and her brother was witness to it and had to clean it up. He confirmed that he did and that I wasn't making it up. My sister-in-law slipped up and asked why did her brother cleaned it up, because according to her, I was meant to clean it up. Either she is the dumbest cow alive to admit it or she knows she has the whole family in her pocket. Either way I made it clear she wasn't going to stay with me, and because she got along much better with everyone else in the family they would figure out something around their own lives. My husband told his niece that she was old enough to clean up the remaining mess, but she said no. Her father jumped in and said, "She is your niece but my daughter, so don't you dare tell her what to do." It got heated between them, so they both had to walk it off. I told her and her husband that the only reason me and my husband were there was to get money back for the bin we had to throw out due to her sprinkling biohazards around the house. She laughed in my face and said it would never happen. I said fine. I hope you realize that when I threw you out I didn't pack all your belongings. I still had her daughter's Switch, her husband's tablet and some of her jewelry, and a few other bits that they left. It would all be sold to recuperate my cost. We left, but she was yelling loudly about what she would do to me if I dared to sell anything. My husband has my back and he said go ahead and sell whatever you need to. Later on they kept texting my husband to do them one last favor by putting up with her for a few months until she got back on her feet. I told him that no matter what I wouldn't agree to let her slobby husband and her horde of children back in. They texted me too, guilting me about his niece's education. With no place to stay close to her school she might have to start at another school if they get a rental which isn't in the school zone. I blocked them. My husband won't block his parents yet. They did admit it was gross but excused her behavior by texting that maybe I did something to aggravate it. To top this off, the oldest wife left a voice message through her husband's number to my husband's WhatsApp. She said, "I kid you no, are you still okay to watch our 6-year-old kid on Tuesdays and Wednesdays like usual?" I told him to say, figure out what the answer to that request is. So that is where we are at now.